So this is the DJI Avata 360, and I thought I'd do this video a bit different today because I've been out flying it all over the place for the last few weeks, and boy, I've had some serious fun with this drone. And it's actually, you have to think of this drone in a completely new way because it is 360. So in some ways, it makes it easier to use because you can see everything and you get every single shot. In some ways it's a little more complex to use because you have to spend more time in the edit. But first of all, let's talk about the features and specs of this new drone. So first of all, the Avata 360 has two cameras. It has one on the top and the bottom. This spins around as you take off, and this enables you to capture that full 8K full 360 sphere. Now, when you come to the editing process, this allows you to reframe your footage like you've never been able to before with any other DJI drone. So essentially how this works, in simple terms, is you can fly this any way that you want, and you are capturing everything. So for example, this is why I thought I'd do it in the car here, and I can just show you some of the examples I've shot. When you are flying forward, you're not just capturing that forward shot that you would normally get with your drone. You're capturing up, you're capturing down, to the left, to the right, backwards, forwards, everything. So when I've been at the beach, I use 360 cameras quite often, and sometimes I forget the power of that. That means if you're flying, say, over the waves of a beach like this, and you're going across, usually what happens when you film drone shots like that is you get one going across the beach so you can kind of see a nice little shot of something in the distance, and then you think, I'll do that shot again, I'll have the drone facing downwards and I'll get the waves lapping up. You don't need to do that with this drone. You have both of those shots. You have a shot of you on the beach sort of panning across, you have a shot going across the tide and the waves like this as well. So it's really, really powerful. Now I like this for a few reasons, and number one, the biggest one of course, is you can capture everything, as I've mentioned. So for an example, my wife works with the St. Ives Marine Bay, and that means she'll go out, she'll get footage of seals, of dolphins, and whenever you take a drone out, you know if you're facing the drone that way, the dolphins or the seals are going to be over there, and as soon as you spin the camera that way, they've gone over there. Flying this above the sea in St. Ives means we've captured some great shots. If I'm filming my friends surfing, for example, often a wave will come, split second, you'll need to turn the camera and you get the shot ready, and by that time your friends have gone. With this, you just have it hovering above them and you've got all of the shots there. You can active track them in edit. It's really, really cool. So for example, let me show you this shot here. So I was flying from St. Michael's Mount, which is a castle in the sea on a little island in Maritime, and I was getting the drone back to me. I was running low on battery. I was coming across the sea, and obviously I'm about a mile away. Onshore, I can't really see much, and on the screen as I'm flying over a part of the sea that you'll see here, I can see this little rowing boat going across, and I'm like, oh man, that would have been a great shot to get, but I need to get this back because the battery's low. And then this is the power in the edit. Watch this. I can now face this camera facing down, and I've got a really cool shot of these rowers going into shore. But then if I want to do another shot, like a pullback, I can spin the camera around in the edit, and then I've got a shot of the rowers and St. Michael's Mount in the background. And this is all from one clip, and that is super powerful. I think in this video as well, I'm going to let the images speak for themselves. I do think the image quality is very, very good. I've had some 360 cameras in the past, and often when you scale down to that 1080p footage, it looks a bit soft and a little bit unusable. I actually think this looks really good, given that it's 8K down to around 1080p. And I think because you're filming usually like wider field of views, you know, like sort of like landscapes and things like that, it still looks cinematic. You're not getting close-up detail like you would with a normal camera, maybe like you would with a handheld 360 camera. So this works particularly well. The camera can film in 8K up to 60 frames per second in HDR as well. Now, we were sent the Fly More combo pack, which comes with the RC2 controller, and this is a super powerful controller. You can fly up to 20 kilometers away from your drone. Now, of course, check out the flying rules where you are, but 20 kilometers with a controller like this with an HD playback on this screen is incredible. It means you don't have to take your phone with you. The image quality is not laggy at all in the slightest. It's really, really nice, really high depth, and you get some really nice footage coming from this. Of course, this controller's been out for a while. Control the drone in cinematic, normal, or sport mode. So super handy. This is in the box. So I found with the cameras, the LiDAR, and the 360 sensing, it's got really good object avoidance, actually some of the best that I've used in a drone so far. So if you're flying through a forest, it's going to avoid those trees really well. If you're flying up or down, it has that LiDAR, so it's not going to sort of cause any issues. You can set it to be off if you want, you can have it on, and you can have it set to go around an object, which is what I tend to use, or you can have it so it just stops as well. I tend to have it on the avoidance because I find that's handy. If you're walking and you're tracking yourself, maybe cycling or walking, or in my case, I've filmed my car driving through sort of a mining area of Cornwall. There was bushes and I could see that it was trying to navigate around them, and it actually makes for some quite interesting shots as well. Now, whilst you have similar modes that you might be used to with other DJI drones and the active track and things like that, it does have spotlight free mode. Now, how this works is you essentially fly the camera next to or close to your subject that you're trying to track, and you don't need to do anything else. The camera will just stay moving forward, and you'll see two modes. You will see what the camera is doing in terms of its tracking, and you'll see your flight path as well. So this enables you to track something, just fly the drone pretty much straight, and the software is in 360 is going to do the job of tracking. So that takes a step out in the edit. So if you are just trying to get a quick shot of something that you want to track, turn spotlight free on, you can fly the drone towards or next to an object. It's going to track that, but it's not going to look like it's tracking it in the air, but it's doing a great job in the software, which is really, really cool. And you can, of course, then edit this footage on the DJI app, which is what I tend to do if I'm doing social media shots, or you have the desktop, the DJI Studio software, which is what I love using because I kind of like spending a bit of time on this. And because you've captured everything, sometimes you'll get shots of things you didn't realize you've got. So it's actually worth going through your footage. And even if you were thinking, say, of capturing the sea, for example, you've got shots where I've gone to St. Ives and I've got the train, and I was waiting for the train to go through the tunnel like this. And then I thought, well, let me get another shot. I could actually get a tracking shot, in a sense, of the train coming along the cliffs and then going through the tunnel. So you have that scalability to change your edit afterwards. And I think that's the thing which is the most fun about this camera. It's not going to be for everyone, I know. And some people are looking just for the highest quality footage that you can get. So DJI aren't really positioning at that. They're not trying to say this is the highest quality drone you can get. It's more, I think, for two types of people. It's for that beginner drone user who is maybe new to flying and they want to make sure they've captured something good, but they're not quite sure how. Or I would say it's for the kind of additional pro level of people who, like me, you're filming something that you don't want to miss. Maybe you're filming nature, maybe you're somewhere and you only have a limited flight time. This enables you, again, I keep saying this, but it enables you to capture everything, and then you've just got time to sit in the edit and get the final story looking just right. So I think squarely aimed at content creators who just want a great drone that can follow them around on their travels. And then a subset of people who are the lifestyle creators who just want more flexibility or professional levels. I mean, I imagine if you use this for a wedding, it would be super handy because, again, when say like a bride and groom are doing something, you can quite often miss the reactions of people over there. You can miss the band walking through or you know, a family member walking into shot. Again, with a camera like this, you've got that. And this is something that you should sort of seriously think about. What kind of thing are you filming? Have you ever missed shots? Or are you in an area where actually this would be really quite beneficial? And then, of course, you also have active track and the items that you get on other DJI drones still. So you don't lose those features. You've got them in here. And you can see from me tracking my car, I think it works really, really well. Now, one thing I really like is this drone can film in D-Log-M. So that means if you are the type of person that wants to film in standard mode and just get some nice looking images straight from the camera and download them to your phone, you've got that. If you are more at the professional end and you want to do a bit of color grading, you've got D-Log-M. And D-Log-M looks really, really nice. As I've mentioned, this works well if you have other DJI drones. You can match up the footage really nicely. So you can see in the shot here, I'm filming in D-Log-M, and then I'm putting on one of the editor's keys, D-Log-M LUTS. I'll cycle through a few here actually, and you can see the difference this makes to the shot and really allows you to tell your creative story differently for each kind of shot that you're trying to, express for. So if you want it to be a nice warm tone, you can do that. If you want to adjust the colors and bring the contrast and saturations up, down, whatever you like, you can do that. And you can apply your own LUTs. I'll put a link to those LUTs in the description below. But again, a super powerful feature that this just makes it a great storytelling product. Now, in the next few weeks, we'll be doing a few more videos on this. And I'm going to be doing a video first showing you the best settings that you should dial in to get essentially the best looking image coming straight from this camera. And then we're going to do a slightly more in-depth tutorial on how to use that DJI Studio software, show you how to use the keyframing, how to make sure you're using the stitching modes and export settings right. So I think it's going to be a really interesting video, just to make it as easy as possible for you to be flying this drone for the first time. Let us know if you've got any questions or comments below this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.